Hello? I say. Okay. So we begin our session today. Am I audible to all of you, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Pulok, sir, shall you start?
Sure, Bhargav, you can start now.
Okay, okay. Okay. A very good morning to one and all present with us today. Myself, Himangshu Deka, Assistant Professor of Faculty of Pharmaceutical Science, Assam Downtown University, would like to welcome you all on behalf of our department to this webinar focuses on the topic hybrid learning in higher education, a learner's perspective. Now, I would like to provide a brief outline about today's speaker, Dr. Pulak Dev sir. Dr. Pulak Dev sir, presently working as a Deputy Controller of Examination in Srimanta Sankadev University of Health Science, Guwahati, Assam. Sir has more than 15 years of experience in economics and research. Before joining as the position of the Deputy Controller, he has serves as a principal of Gitanjali College of Pharmacy. Before that, he has served as an assistant professor of in Grijananda Institute of Pharmaceutical Science, Guwahati. He has completed his PhD from Guwahati University in 2016, and he has guided many graduates and postgraduate students. Besides that, Sir had also participated in many national and international conferences and published many research articles in reputed journals. So, with this, I would like to take this opportunity to invite Dr. Pulokdev Sir to please deliver your lecture. Sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Himanshu. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, you are audible, sir.
Okay. So, thank you. Hello.
Yes, yes,
Hello.
you are audible, sir.
Okay. So, first of all, I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Biplab Kumar Desai, the Dean of Pharmaceutical Science, Assam Downtown University, for giving this opportunity to interact with teachers and students of Assam Downtown University Department of Pharmaceutical Technology. At the same time, I'm thankful to Dr. Minmoy Das, head of the department, and all other faculties for organizing such a nice webinar series to give inputs to the students and facilitate students' learning. So basically, I've been told that this particular webinar series will be attended by the students as well as the faculty members. So I have deliberately chosen a particular topic for today's webinar, that is regarding the learning. That is the very, very basic of any educational system, is that the learning. We all are here today in this particular webinar for that basic purpose only. For that particular reason, we are gathered today in this particular platform, which gives us the opportunity to learn. So without wasting much time, let me take you through a very important aspect of today, because in this particular webinar series, you will be going through different lectures from the eminent speakers around the across the width and breadth of this country. Maybe from someone from the other places also, because most of the times when EDTU organize such an events, it is really useful event and very helpful for the students and teacher. So in that particular context, let me take you through my topic today. Himanshu, it is audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, it is audible, sir.
Okay. So I think my presentation is visible to you all.
Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So today I will take you through a learning prospect, a new prospect of learning, not exactly new. I think all of you sitting here in this particular webinar, you have all exposed to some kind of hybrid learning. Maybe intentionally or unintentionally, or by knowingly or unknowingly, we have been exposed to this kind of system time and again. Just I want to take you through a more structured way, so that you can have a better idea and you can use this particular tool of learning in a very useful manner. So my today's topic is hybrid learning in the higher education. Specific to the, I will keep this very specific to the higher education learning, the higher level of learning, so that it will help you all, because you are all graduate, postgraduate students and teachers who are also engaged in your PhD work. So therefore, I hope that this will be much helpful for all of you to keep continuing your learning process. So let me first take you through the basic concept of this particular topic. This is basically called as the hybrid learning. This is a blended and also it is hybrid between different modes and different tools of learning. And it is also augmented by, or increase the efficacy of the learning. The effectiveness of the learning is augmented by the way of hybrid learning. It provides convenience, it provides flexibility, it provides independence. As you can see, today we are in a mode of online webinar. So this particular webinar provides us convenience that most of us, maybe we are sitting somewhere in our drawing room, or maybe someone is there in different places. So, but still we can attend this particular webinar and flexibility. We could have organized this event in the evening. It could have organized in the somewhere 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Whatsoever time is convenient for everyone. The flexibility of timing, flexibility of places, it always offers, and independence. There is no hardened task that this particular place we will require this much of decorative places we require. This kind of things are not there. I have independence that I can read this particular thing, I can attend this, or if I don't like, I can shift to the next thing. So I have choices. Secondly, it is strongly that this particular way of learning, the hybrid method of learning, is strongly recommended by our University Grant Commission, and it has been already circulated time and again by University Grant Commission to different universities, educational institutions to adopt hybrid learning method. So fourthly, it is aligned to our newly adopted National Education Policy 2020. In National Education Policy, the new concept that have been taken up by our National Education Policy 2020, that also require the hybrid mode of learning. You cannot only rely on a particular face-to-face conventional way of learning for proper implementation of National Education Policy. Where National Education Policy, you all are aware about the National Education Policy, and it is very clear to everyone that it provides lots of flexibility in terms of learning, in terms of education. So it is having the vertical shifting or vertical flexibility, it is having horizontal flexibility, it is having the multidisciplinary education system. So this kind of flexibility, this kind of multidisciplinary system of education is mostly or only possible by the hybrid mode of education. Then next is the suitable for the tech-savvy new generation, because new generation today we all are using different kinds of modern gadgets, including smartphone, laptop, computer, tab. So this kind of gadget, and we are now in the time of development stage, including our nursery classes or elementary classes. From that part only, the kids are more convenient using this kind of modern technologies. So for them, this is another way of attracting their mindset towards the learning possibility, and it is also cost effective. As you can see that today we did not require to travel through the roads by using car, bus, and all this transportation, and to come and gather in a particular classroom, and there we deliver the lecture. This kind of thing is costly. Sometimes it is much costly when someone is traveling down from somewhere and coming to another place, attending for a particular training session or a education class. So that kind of cost can be avoided in case of hybrid. Then first of all, before we go to the hybrid learning, us understand what is learning, because this particular word, even we you all are studying in higher learning system in university classes. So generally, this kind of word learning, hardly we have, we know the word learning, but hardly we have a much idea what is learning, what we are going to, because all we are gathered university system for learning, but we actually may not be knowing the actual meaning of learning, what we are doing. In fact, the learning is called as a process of acquiring new understanding, new knowledge, behavioral change. We have to get the new skill sets. We have to adopt the values, attitude, and we will develop our preferences. That is called as learning. It is not about just reading the books, doing some experimental work in the laboratory, and get some good grades in our grade card and leaving the university with those piece of paper. This is not called as learning. Learning, when it will be called as the mission is completed or learning is accomplished, when you will understand yourself that you have new understanding. Before admitting to a particular course or to get to a particular subject or to get to a particular curriculum, we have a different set of understanding, and prior and after completion of that particular course or that particular curriculum, when we have a better understanding, better knowledge about the subject, then we will say, okay, we have the knowledge and we have the understanding of that particular subject, of that particular curriculum or the course. Thereby, we can say that our part of learning is completed. But this is only the book-bound thing. The understanding and the knowledge. The knowledge you can acquire from the different books or different kind of resources available. From there, we can get the knowledge, we can read, we can get the knowledge. And with introduction with the peer and the other colleagues, we can also get the understanding. But at the same time, there should be a behavioral change. We can see that some students, when join a particular course, they have a different pattern of mindset, they have a different vision altogether. But at the end of that particular course, when they graduate from that particular course, their behavior changes, their mindset changes. So that is also the part and parcel of the learning. This is that we will gain the skill, hand-on skill in laboratories, in doing our project work, in practicing different types of professional activities. There we will gain the skills. Then at the same time, when we come to the society of an university or a school or college, there we develop our values. We get our attitude finished. We get our attitude signed up. And at the same time, what happens when we have the knowledge, understanding of the subject and different types of matter, we also have a behavioral change. We got the skill. We have been given the understanding of values and attitude. We develop our preference that what to do, what not to do, what to select and what not to select. This kind of preferences are developed in the process of learning. So there are different types of definitions given by different types of authors and researchers in this particular line of education and training. So I have only cited here two particular definitions given by Thorpe and Kimbells. The Thorpe, what he says, it says that the process which manifests itself by adaptive changes in the individual's behavior as a result of experience. So just other part is as equal as the first introductory lines. So what I want to point out from the Thorpe's definition, that he mentioned the word experience. So learning is not a particular forceful task that you have to complete it by hook or crook, and then you have to sit in an examination, and once you successfully pass the examination, you are done with your learning. No, learning is a journey of experience. It is starting from the day we born in this earth, and it ends, that journey ends when that person dies. That is the whole experience of learning. So from that experience, whatever the result comes as a change in the individual's behavior, that change is known as the learning. So everyone, be a teacher or student, everyone is in the process of learning. Every day we learn something or something else. And these changes, whatever is mentioned, these changes are permanent changes. As Kimball cited here, the more or less these changes are permanent changes. This is not that you learn something today and you will forget it. That is not the learning. That is only remembering particular thing. And once you remember certain thing, your memory has a limited capacity to remember something. And you can, if it's only remembered, you will forget it. But once you have learned that thing, it will make more or less some permanent changes in your behavior. And this will happen, this will occur only as a result of practice. So from this particular thing, you have to understand that this learning process is the acquiring new knowledge, understanding behavior. This is an experience, and this experience make permanent changes in terms of as a result of practices. So am I audible to everyone?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Okay, so is it clear to everyone, or anything doubtful or something you want to ask in between? You can ask. Okay. So this is what I want to give you a prerequisite information to discuss to the hybrid learning, because once we understand the learning, then only we can understand what is called as hybrid learning. So this is a just preliminary discussion. Let us go to the basics. Oh, okay. Another thing I want to explain here, that earlier days, whenever in my time when I was student or my previous generations, or since the inception of this particular system, mostly this particular process of education was teaching centric. It all depends on the teaching, how teachers teach. On that, everything evolved from that particular concept. That what, okay, teacher is there, so the learning will be there. But learning was quite less important compared to teaching. Now, there is a paradigm shift from this particular concept, that okay, teachers are there, but at the same time, the most important is not the teacher's performance, but the learner's performance. What learners learning is most important rather than what teacher is teaching. So everything is coming from this one side, that is the teacher-centric education, to the learner-centric education. Now here you can see that when we call it as a teaching or pedagogical model, the technology behind the teaching is called as the pedagogy. So in the pedagogical models, there are four components. The four levels or five stages of pedagogical system that involves in the teaching. The first thing is that engagement, or engaging the learner into the system. Second is exploring the learner. Engaging means what? Suppose we want to discuss something for today's class. Say, for example, we want to discuss about tablet. So every time when a teacher goes to the class, it gives a very basic information and try to connect the students with a topic of discussion. And students come up and connect with the topic. That generally is the process called as engagement of the student to the topic. Now, once it is engaged, and see, for this particular basic concept, I am referring to the teaching, but do remember that my focus is only on the learner. be it a teacher, even a teacher is a learner, and be it a student, those students are learning their pharmaceutical education, their life skill, their everything from that university, from some downtown university. For everyone, I'm considering the learning. So I'm not teaching the teachers that how to teach or what are the components of teaching here. In fact, I am just getting it more elaborated, because our next point where when we will move to the main context of our today's discussion, there this particular basic thing will help you to understand what we are actually discussing today. So once the learner engaged, the next thing is that explore that the learner's level of understanding or whatever prerequisite information is there or not. If someone does not have any idea about pharmacy or pharmaceutical science, or what is dose or what is compression or what is granules, you cannot start the discussion of tablet. You cannot start the topic of discussing tablet. So the next thing is what? The exploration. Now see, here everything is very much on the onus of the teacher. The teacher has to engage the student. The teacher has to explore what they know, what they do not know, at which stage we have to start the discussion. Then next, the explanation, that is also a part of teaching. A monotonous single level discussion, or it called as monologuous discussion, that teacher will go to the board or somewhere in the laboratory. So he will start talking and delivering his lecture. Whether I am learning or I am not learning, that may not be well understood. Then once the explanation is over, then elaboration. Now, once you get the explanation is the basic conceptual understanding, the elaboration is called as the in-depth understanding. So explain, then followed by elaboration. That's what we all teachers are doing, and we all students are following this particular pattern. Okay, sir will come or madam will come, and he will give a little introduction. Then he will ask us one or two questions, and then he will start with the topic. He will first take us through a basic concept of that tablet. What is the theory of tablet compression? What are the different ingredients used in the tablet? So likewise, he will start. Then the elaborate discussion will start. We will ask the question, the teacher will reply those questions, and this is how the process will continue. And finally, there is a process of evaluation. Once the topic will be completed, so the madam or sir will ask us some question, whether we will be able to answer those or we may not able to answer those. Depending on that, teacher will either scold us or give a advice. That's what generally the conventional method of face-to-face teaching. Now let us go into the learner's perception, the learner's perspective. What a learner has to do? What is the role of learner? The learning has 6 different levels, and when we start our education in a particular course or training in a particular course, we all go through these 6 levels. It is not that in every subject, in every curriculum, we will find this 6 level. Sometimes it is having 3 levels, sometimes it may have 4 levels, sometimes it may have all 6 levels. It depends on the content of that particular education, content of that particular curriculum. But otherwise, in most general cases, it is having 6 different types of levels. So that is the reading part. We have to get the information. This is the very much age of the era of the education technology, or better to say, the information technology. So first we have to extract the information from various resources, be it teacher, be it book, be it internet page, or elsewhere. We have to get the information. When having the information inside my brain is called as knowing a particular thing, knowing the definition of the tablet, knowing the definition of certain other doses from that is called as I know. So knowing is just simply reading. When I can throw the definition word by word of tablet as defined it in Indian Pharmacopoeia. I am just read that particular definition. I remember that, I stored that in my brain, and now I can just recall it every time whenever someone is asking. It's just the basic and the least part or least level of the learning. It is knowing. Second, once we remember that, the next thing is that I understand. I understand the concept that in the definition of tablet, if it says that tablet is a dosage form, then I must understand that it is a dosage form and what does dosage form means. When I understand the whole sentence of that particular definition, I will know and understand the total thing of the tablet. Now, once I know and understand about the tablet, I can apply my knowledge and understanding in different areas. I can apply my knowledge of tablet, what I have read and understand, that can be applied into a laboratory setup to formulate a particular tablet, to make a particular tablet. So I am applying it. Just I have learned it, I know it, I understand the concept, and now I know the tablet contain an active ingredient along with diluent and along with disintegrating agent, flow improver. So I have all the thing. I know this thing, and I'm designing a new tablet. Not designing. I'm just preparing a new tablet following a given particular formula or a particular rule. So that is always the applying your knowledge. Then once you can do this thing, the next level is you can analyze. If this analysis is not the analysis or evaluation of a tablet as a dosage form, this analysis is the analyzing the context of that particular thing. For example, say, once you from a formula, there's a certain problem. Say, when you are compressing a tablet, you are finding that there is some problem of chipping. There lamination taking place in that particular tablet. Or maybe the tablet is becoming too hard. Now, you have to analyze the tablet getting chipped. Why there is lamination in the tablet? Why I cannot form a perfect tablet? This particular, when you can answer your why, when you can answer your own why, you can answer your own curiosity, that particular point is called as analyzing, that you are analyzing a particular problem. Now, once you are done with the analysis, that okay, the chipping is due to addition of excess of a certain particular ingredient, say, for example, say, disintegrating agent. Now, this, when you can understand that, you have found your problem, that okay, this is the root of the problem, root cause of the problem, and you can correct that root cause. Now you know how to adjust the level of a certain ingredient to get a desired property. This particular function, when you can do, you are in the 5th level of your learning. And now when you are done with all this 5th level, now next is the creating. That is the most important thing. Those are informed students, those are PhD scholars or the teachers who are doing researches. For them, we are at the 6th level. We are creating something new thing. So I have prepared a tablet with a given formula. I found that problem. I have resolved the problem, finding the root cause, and I have developed that particular tablet. Now, next thing is to create a new tablet. All new tablet, that what we are doing in the formulation of a particular dosage form. Now, I'm just taking the example of tablet. I'm only taking a particular small part of the pharmaceutical science. The same thing may happen in the pharmacognosy, same thing may happen in the pharmacology. So everywhere, the creating a new thing, creating a new layer or new aspect of education or a new thing is the highest level of learning. So depending on the particular subject or particular syllabus or particular stream of the course you are in, your level of learning will be different. And you have to start the learning with knowing that is the basic level, and you have to go up as and when it demands and it requires. So this was my very basic discussion why we need to learn. Because see, we all are here to get a better quality of life. Today you are a student, you are focusing to get a basic job. Once you are done with your courses, maybe it be BPharm or MPharm or PhD, whatsoever is you are pursuing in Assam Downtown University. Once the course is completed, your next focus is you will get into your job. Now, that at the job level, what you have to do, that is the basic demand of you, not the piece of paper that is called as result or the course certificate. The thing is that what you are going to do. And not only, see, the education does not only mean that you will end up in getting a particular job. The basic concept of education and the learning is to have a better life. To accomplish the learning is to get a desired things in your life, to perform certain things. And it is not that you will only work in a certain factory or in the market or in the field of teaching or whatsoever you want to place yourself. Not that. But at the same time, you should have the values. You should have the attitude that is acceptable by the society. You should have a life skill, not only the skill of preparing tablets, skill of extracting drugs from a good drug, or not the skill of synthesizing the different types of drug molecules, but you should also have the life skill. So for example, say, if I consider that you know everything about preparing tablet or extracting drug molecules from a given good drug, but you don't know how to reach a particular place by driving your car or riding your bike, or you don't know how to travel in a public transport system, your knowledge is useless. You cannot apply your tablet formation skill or extraction skill or synthesis skill in your house. You have to travel from your house to a certain employment area where you can demonstrate your skill so that they will give you the opportunity to work. So here, what is the life skill? The life skill is the skill or the whatever you have learned to travel from one place to another place. So that is also the part of education, not the skill that is only corely related to your education or your curriculum. But apart from the curricular thing, there are certain other things is also to be learned. Your preference, that which job you will do. Preference, that which particular class or train which we will prefer to travel from certain place to another place. So this kind of thing is also co-developed along with our curricular part. Okay, so that's how the whole learning, the whole education system works in everywhere. So until unless you are not a learner, until unless you remain yourself only as a student of certain department or a particular university, you cannot engage yourself. The first step of pedagogical model is this engagement. So if you are not trying to engage in the system, it is not possible to engage someone in a particular system. If you know the repulsion and attraction theory, I think everyone have gone through the physical pharmaceutics and you know about the repulsion and attraction theory. So if you are not being attracted to a certain topic of learning, if you do not know how to get attracted, how to get engaged in the topic. If you don't ignite yourself, if you don't feel yourself to learn a particular topic, no teacher in this world can make you learn. So learning is your responsibility, not the teacher's responsibility. Teacher can only facilitate that particular system, that particular way that you have adopted for the learning. So next, coming to the main topic. So I hope everyone has clear to that particular basic understanding. Students, you may have some questions. If you have, you can ask before we go to the main topic.
Okay, anyone have any query? Sir, till now no queries come from the student side. I think you should proceed with the main presentation, sir.
Okay, so is it visible
Sir,
now? The screen is visible?
Yes. Not. So please share your slides again, sir.
Okay. I'm sure it is visible.
Not yet, sir. Okay, okay, sir, it's visible now.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now it is visible, sir.
So coming to the hybrid learning. Now it is the hybrid learning is also synonymously called as blended learning or mixed mode of learning. This is a combination of face-to-face learning or face-to-face teaching and online teaching and learning. See, online part is not only the teaching, online part is called as teaching learning. Again, we must understand the difference between, I have tried to make this thing clear before in our earlier slide. To understand the difference between teaching and the learning is most important thing for everyone around here present in this particular platform. So the face-to-face teaching and and online teaching learning, it is a combination. When we mix together very wisely, then it is called as hybrid learning. Then next is the design. It is a design approach whereby face-to-face and learning are made better by presence of each other. That is, there should be both. It is not that only we will focus in the, so we are in the modern era, we are tech savvy, we are using the defined modern gadgets. So I will not go to the class, I will not interact with any teacher, I will not talk to any teacher, I will not go to university. I have these all gadgets, so I can learn it easily. No, it is not that. The thing is that the presence, the wise presence and proportionate presence of each other is very important. You cannot ignore any of these two segments, the face-to-face as well as the online mode. Both the segment, that is the e-learning segment and face-to-face interaction segment, should be well proportionately balanced. Then only it will be called as hybrid learning. You must understand the difference between the video lecture or the online classes to the hybrid learning. The online classes was the compulsion of the time that happened due to the pandemic situation arised. But the hybrid learning is not the concept of the, or is not the product of the pandemic. It have been used in different countries, even in our country, in the different types of high-end institutions, they are being using this kind of modern technology or modern mode of education since very last 2 to 3 decades. They are using this particular modern approaches for learning. Then this have to be a thoughtful fusion. What I have told, that there should be a very clever, wise mixture of these two components, that is the face-to-face instruction and the e-content or e-learning. These two have been thoughtfully mixed together, not just throwing something in a basket and mix them together and you will get something very nice. It will never happen like that. You have to add every ingredient proportionately, like your mother does in the kitchen. If she mistakenly puts some added excess salt to the curry, it will completely be waste. Similarly, if one mix a very less amount of water, then the taste will be lost. Or simply, if the boiling is not proper, then also there will be not the real or proper taste. So the thoughtful fusion has to be done. Then only it will call as a hybrid learning. It is not only teaching the thing in the absence of each other in a particular video conferencing mode, because the online teaching what we have been referring since last 2 years is nothing but it being a video conference between one, that is the delivering person, to the receiving person. That's what only happening in terms of, I'm not telling that everywhere where it was happening like that, but most of the cases, in most of the time, it happened to be a deliverer who are delivering the content, and there is another who is only receiving the content. There is no assurance that the learning is accomplished. So that is the video conferencing online classes, but that is not a hybrid learning. So at that onset only, at the basic first stage only, let us keep that particular thing very clear to our mind, that we are not discussing about the very old and very old-fashioned boring video conferencing class. We are not there. We are talking about the hybrid learning. This is the blender. So it is a blended learning. And what you will put into your blender jar, you have to be wisely selecting everything. What proportion of face-to-face learning you will incorporate, what proportion of e-learning you will incorporate, how many videos you will how many web content reading will be there. This all will be depend, and once the blend is proper, then only a tasty product will come out, a useful product will come out. There are, why we are going to use this hybrid learning, why we are using, what is the purpose, what is the paradigm of this particular hybrid learning. So hybrid learning is, first thing is that the enabling hybrid, that is where when we are hybriding the thing, when we are mixing two or more things together, we should have some purpose. In case of our different formulation, when we are mixing 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients together, every time we are adding a new ingredient to our dosage form, we are doing it very purposefully. We are not wasting a milligram of any ingredient in any of the pharmaceutical dosage form. Okay, so we must understand that why we are going to hybrid the things, why we need to mix the thing. First thing is that enabling hybrid. That what was being doing the last 2 years. We were enabling, we were addressing the issue of accessibility and convenience. Basic purpose was been to enable the learner to learn. The online video class, to give the soft copy of note, to take the online examination. These all are wanted to address the issue of accessibility, because being a distal part of this particular state, maybe in Dhubri or in Silchar, maybe in the Karbi Anglong region, or maybe in the Lakhimpur Dhemaji, from there, the students, due to the COVID, they could not come to the Assam Downtown University for learning. They could not avail the library of Assam Downtown University. So what to do? How to do the learning? To enable the learning, the hybrid mode of education have been incorporated. Second thing, the enhancing hybrid. See, this is the enabling hybrid is what we sometimes do it for just making the thing accessible, to making the thing convenience. But sometimes we have to enhance the learning. That is called as enhancing hybrid. The incremental change in the learning outcome. Suppose only classroom. In a classroom, 60 students are sitting over there. One teacher is coming for 50 minutes or 1 hour time, and that time is not adequate to complete the learning of a certain topic. So we have to increase our learning outcome. Learning outcome is what? The result of learning. That what the process of learning, at the end of the process, what will be the result is called as learning outcome. For example, say when we start the titration using two liquids, one is, for example, say the titration and titrating agent, when we are mixing them together drop by drop, drop by drop, at a certain point of time, we get the change in terms of indicator. So this particular, that is at the onset, when we are starting and allowing the first drop to mix with the content, at that particular point of time, our vision is clear, our outcome is very clear, that at the end of this particular experiment or this particular titration, we will get pink color, we will get orange color, we will get red color, we will get blue color. So this particular thing is very much clear. The outcome is what? The outcome is that particular endpoint. So learning outcome to be increased, the result of learning to be increased. For that particular reason, the hybrid learning is incorporated. Then transforming hybrid. Radical shift. That earlier discussion, I just pointed one thing, that sometimes when it is just like now what is happening is just the passive receiver. You all are sitting on the other side of the gadget. You are just passive receiver. What does it mean? That whatever I am speaking now, you are just listening it. Some point, something you will remember and something you will get forgotten. That is the simple thing is known as the passive receiver. Now, the transformation, how it happened, if in case of hybrid learning system, there is a radical change, the change from a passive receiver to the active learner. So the focus is that what I speak here, I have spoken this particular topic time and again. I have gone through this topic last 6 and 7 years. I have been going through this particular aspect of the education. I am very much thorough about it. So whatever I am doing today is nothing helpful for your learning unless you are learning it. That is the purpose of today's meeting or today's webinar. So unless we cannot successfully make you a learner instead of a receiver, this purpose is not solved. So similarly, same happens in the classes also. The teacher is prepared with all different types of books, materials, and the information elsewhere, wherever he can get the information. He used to get the information, he understands those, and he makes himself or herself well prepared before going to the classroom. And in the classroom, if we see that for whom I have taken all this effort is just a passive receiver. But for doing that, I have traveled from the Guwahati, some part of the Guwahati, to the digital Panikheti in the university. Then I have came to the class to deliver the topic, but I am delivering to it to the passive receiver. So there, this hybrid pattern of learning can be very helpful to convert these passive receivers to the active learner. What is the uniqueness of this? Why we will do this thing? It converts the classroom and communication technology. What is classroom? We know that classroom is a setup where we face to face and we discuss in a given point. What is the communication technology? It is simply called as the information and communication technology. It is ICT. But the many technologies, today we have several technologies to communicate information, because the first thing starts in the level of knowing. And what is knowing? Knowing is the getting information. So getting information today it is a diverse opportunities are there. From every opportunities we can take this information, and this is called as communication technology. And when this particular technology of hybrid learning is used, basically it is aimed to bring two things, that is the classroom and communication technology, together in a streamline. This is called as convergence of two different things together, two mode of learning together, and bring it to a streamline. So that's how the hybrid learning is unique from it. It is not only focused on classroom, or neither only focused on communication technology. It brings both together and bring them to a streamline. Secondly, the transformation of teaching and learning approach. That is the approach, teacher how he or she will teach, and learner how he or she will learn. This whole approaches will be different. Now it is not that I will know that okay, 11:30 there is a pharmaceutics one class, I have to sit, either I like or I don't like, I have to sit there. And teacher also knows that in my timetable I have a class of first semester at 11:30, so I have to go there and I have to deliver 1 hour lecture. This is from this particular approach, the thing will be changed. The students will eager to learn, and teacher will be eager to teach. So that's what, when this transformation is possible through this hybrid learning. And how it is possible, I'll list two types of communication: the synchronous and asynchronous. What is synchronous learning? So now what is happening is a synchronous learning. Synchronous learning means what? We are in a direct communication. If you have a question, you can directly ask me. If I have that answer, I will immediately give you the answer. So this is the process which asynchronous question. I will reply your question maybe in 2 hours, maybe in 2 days, or maybe in 2 months. Whenever I will get that time to answer, then I will give you the question, give you the answer. So this is called as asynchronous. That you may not get the response immediately. You may not get your query completed immediately. That is called as asynchronous. So this particular mode of hybrid learning that provide both the synchronous as well as asynchronous. Why? This is very important, because when you only rely on the classroom, that is called as synchronous mode. When you are only relying on the online system, there is asynchronous. But this is having the uniqueness of blend of this synchronous and asynchronous communication, and this also offers the diversified learning profession. If you like Facebook, you can also like from the Facebook. Frequent user of YouTube, you can see the videos in the YouTube. If you want any other platform, you can learn from there. So it gives you the diversity that wherever you like, you go there, but you focus on learning. That is the basic perspective. Advantages. What are the advantages? It offers the flexibility in terms of time, in terms of place, as this is already explained earlier, so I'm not going to explain it again. So better running. I already told you that the outcome. You know that this is the outcome. So the outcome will be achieved better and faster, and in a well-planned manner. That is called as better learning result. Independent and self-directed learning. See, if you remember the first slide that I have shown you, that was the hybrid learning in higher education, the learner's perspective. Remember, I repeatedly told you that, and the students present here, don't think that I am teaching your teachers today. Remember, I am just giving you the way to learn. Your teacher will keep on facilitating your education as they are doing, but you can augment your learning by adopting this hybrid learning. My purpose is not to give you a something different world or a different color of your classroom, or I'm not changing your blackboard to whiteboard or whiteboard to green board or chalk to a marker pen, not that kind of thing. So whatever face-to-face component is being continued by the university or teacher, that is a very important portion. This can be complemented, this can be augmented by this hybrid mode of learning. Once you can successfully utilize this particular thing, you can have a better learning outcome, and that better learning outcome will result in your better placement, better higher education, better quality of life, and it will help you the lifelong learning. The day when you will pass from Assam Downtown University, from next day onwards, you are not a direct part of the university. Maybe your teacher, your institution, your library will be open for you as an alumni, but you are not part of the face-to-face classroom learning. But still, even after completion of your curricular education in a particular institution, college, or university, you have to learn through your life, throughout your life, and that is called as lifelong learning. When you are working in industry, the new things, new techniques will come. You have to learn it. You have to adopt that particular technological change. Today, you are only a pharmacist. When you will be working in an industry, you have to become a manager. So you have to learn management. You have to learn the administration. So this administration management, there is only small subject given in your 7th semester of the curriculum. But when you will go into the industry after 3, 4, 5 years, when you will be promoted to a managerial level, you will find that those small books that have been taught in your curriculum is just only the basic introductory part. You have to have a proper knowledge of management. You have to be a leader in that particular segment. So lead a particular team, how to do the leadership, how to manage the machine, man, and all other resources. That is also very important. So how you will learn? You have to learn how to learn. That is what I don't know how to learn. What you will learn? How you will learn? If you don't know that which website or which particular web page is having certain information, which particular website I have to follow, and which is false or bogus information, how we will learn? So this particular mode, and so far the dependence will live. Once you learn to learn, your dependence on a certain thing or your complete dependence on the teacher will not be there. You have a flexibility. Okay, teacher is busy now, or today he is on leave. So still on his absence, I can learn. That opportunity will be created once you will learn how to utilize hybrid learning in your life. Okay, next come to the self-motivation. Once, see, what happened whenever we are using certain social media in a very attractive topic, which is very close to our mind, or what we like very much. You see, you keep on reading that particular thing, or if it is video. So if you keep once you start with a single video, then the other recommended videos, and it comes up, and when the hours spent, you just forget the time. Why? Because you have ignited yourself, you have motivated yourself to learn, to know it. Okay, what next? See, sometimes we find a 50 minutes lecture in a class is too boring than a 3-hour long movie. A 3-hour long movie, every minute when it passes, we do not remember. The 3 hours just passes like anything in a blow. But the 40 minutes finds like each second is very difficult to pass. Why? Because you don't have the motivation to involve yourself in that particular process of learning. And that makes the total difference. When you are in Facebook and when you are in classroom, the difference is that in Facebook you do not remember what is going on in your clock. But in classroom, okay, keep on saying, oh, what is the time now? When the sir will leave? So this thing happens because you are not motivated. But in the hybrid mode of learning, as you are blending, the blend is yours. So when you are blending it yourself, you have the motivation. Okay, I like Facebook, but I am very much so, I'm very much tech savvy. I can use the YouTube very well. So okay, I will have certain portion of my learning from YouTube. And whenever you like that particular component very much, you will automatically have the motivation. And another thing, what happened, before going to the next point, tacit and explicit learning, another thing, what happened, sometimes in the class, the boring thing comes because we find ourselves in a nowhere, in the middle of the sea. I have missed last 2 classes. Suddenly, today I wake up in time, so I went to the university on time, and I am very fortunate to get into the class in right time. So today I am inside the class. I do not know what have been discussed yesterday, day before yesterday, or last 2 to 3 classes. Suddenly, when I am there and the teacher is discussing physics of tablet compression, the teacher is discussing the certain, say, chemotherapeutic agent, or teacher is discussing a biosynthetic pathway in pharmacognosy, we find ourselves in nowhere. I don't know what is the compression, I don't know what is the granule, everything I do not know, but teacher is showering me with this all new kind of basic. If I have some basic idea about the discussion today or about this face-to-face interaction today, I would find that particular discussion interesting. So that's what sometimes happens. So that thing, that particular boldness can be given away with the hybrid learning. Yes, it generally happens. Am I audible to everyone? Mansur?
Yes, you're audible.
Yes, sir.
This, the tacit and explicit learning, this is the every time we say that the tip of iceberg. That means what? The 90% of iceberg is submerged into the water, and only we can see the only a small tip of that iceberg. That is the tacit and explicit learning. The tacit learning is only that tip, and explicit learning is the part that is submerged into the water. Why? Why I'm saying is the theoretical part the handouts, notes, these things, whatever is given to us, the explicit learning, that is a big part that is submerged into the water. And the result is the tacit learning. That learning is a practical learning. Practical learning is the feedback-based, the expert or the actual scenario learning, where we get the actual learning, what we have to perform. Today, you do not know whether you will become a pharmaceutical chemist to prepare bulk drug. You do not know whether you will be a pharmacognostic expert to prepare food drugs and extracts and all those things. You do not know whether you will work in a solid dosage form production setup or liquid dosage form production setup. You don't know. You are being given with the whole sort of information in terms of your curriculum, so that anyone, either in the chemistry, either in the pharmacology, either in the pharmaceutics production, marketing, wherever you go, you can fit yourself. But when you will be there, or if you discuss something with those person or already working in that particular field, you will get the extract and actual experience of that particular area. That is known as the tacit learning. So on the pile of that big submerged parts of ice, we will have a small tip of the tacit actual learning through the experience. That advantage is provided by the hybrid learning. Then this also helps the community building, because the classroom, the teachers do not allow the students to talk. If one student asks something to another, or if they are discussing between themselves, the teacher immediately stop and sometimes scold. So inside the classroom, there is no possibility of community building. Even if you like to ask your friend, it is not allowed. Whatever you want to ask, you have to ask your teacher. So, but whenever you are in a different platform, whenever you are discussing this thing in an online community, you already have a multiplied, the manifold multiplied information. What one person knows, the 10 person knows better. So that advantage of community is provided by the hybrid learning. Second, last thing is that it helps us to learn new skills. When a teacher in the class, he is bound with a curriculum. He has hardly any opportunity to discuss newer invention and what is new going on into that. Sometimes we teacher do this. Sometimes we try to connect and leave something and orient the student to some newer things. But it is really hardly possible in a time-bound manner that we will discuss the new things. But whenever you are discussing, because say whenever we are discussing the extraction, we are still bound with that particular percolation, maceration, and all these things. Still, I don't think that, I don't know, I think there is no recent change, and I don't know about the additive curriculum. I think the newer mode of extraction, newer technologies of extraction still to be incorporated into the syllabus. So where you will get this particular new information? Even your teachers knows it very, very well. They are through their self-learning motivation, their self-learning initiative, they have acquired that particular newer knowledge, but they are bound with the old curriculum. They do not have much time to discuss those new inventions going around the world. So that opportunity, if you even miss that opportunity in face-to-face classroom environment, you have a different environment, a virtual environment, where you can now learn the new, latest development, latest things, latest skill through that hybrid learning. It has challenges also. First thing is the time management. You have to manage the time. Because sometimes we see that we plan to sleep at, say, 11 o'clock in the night, but we start seeing the Facebook or the YouTube or any interesting video, and when it is 3 o'clock, we just ignore it. So you have to manage the time. That this is your time you want to spend in the virtual world, and then you have to come back to the real world. The time allocated for the real world, that is the face-to-face class, and time allocated to the virtual world, that is the online system. This time management is very important, and you have to learn how to manage these two times. Even there is some interesting thing, but if your time does not permit, you have to retract yourself. You have to come back and go to the virtual, from virtual to the real world. So that's what time management is very important. And see, next point I have boldly written in the red color, the onus of own learning. You are responsible for learning. The challenge here is the challenge, because we find ourselves very lazy in most important thing, that is the learning. The most important thing for every learner is learning, but when it comes to our own responsibility, we are every time failure with that particular responsibility. We hardly shows our responsibility. When it comes to the assignment, every time we delay submitting the assignment. When it comes to the project, we are every time delaying the project for submission. So when the responsibility comes to our own, we have to understand that onus is on me. I have to learn. Until unless you will understand your responsibility of learning, the whole effort being given by the teacher, the authority of your department, the university authority, the management, whatsoever they are doing, they are organizing whole lot number of seminar, conference, workshop, webinar, classes, whatsoever they will be doing, until unless you understand the importance is completely useless. If you can still remember, just I want someone to respond in this particular slide. Can you see this slide? I came back to earlier slide. Can you see this slide? Any student? Please a response. Any student, not Himanshu or any teacher.
Advantages. So many.
No, I'm not here in the advantage. If the slide have been changed, if you cannot see it properly, I came to the earlier.
Yeah, teaching.
Teaching and learning.
Can you see
Yes,
the learning levels? Can you see the learning levels?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so it is written knowing, understanding, applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating.
Yes.
Why ing is given in a highlighted yellow color? What is this particular tense? You know the tense of verb?
It means, sir, it was continuation.
Present continuous tense. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This one, knowing means, sir, continuation.
Continuation. That's what the thing is here. Very importantly, that you have to make it an action that is done today, tomorrow, and so on. And these ing, I have not included this ing. This have been included by the education technologies. This particular level is known as Bloom's taxonomy of taxonomical level of learning. So over the time when this is being practiced into the education technology, it was earlier, it was known as a knowledge, but later it have been changed to the knowing. Earlier it was the understand. Then it comes to understanding, because the education technologists, they understood that this is not a phenomenon of 1 minute, 1 day, or 1 second. It is a prolonged phenomenon of going on and on and on, which starts right now, and it will keep going and keep going and going. Endless, infinitive mode. That's what you have to do. You have to get your onus on yourself. You have to be responsible for your learning. If you miss to submit an assignment, if you miss to understand a particular topic in a book, if you cannot complete a experimental task, the loss is yours. The whole loss is yours only. And if you do not, and see, sometimes, as I already told you, that it is, I am not blaming any one of you that you are failure to submit a assignment. Sometimes what happens, I have seen in many students that when the question asked, they find themselves in a difficult position that what to write and how to write, and their one thing in their mind is that I have to write it best. The first thing comes to my mind that when I am getting the assignment task, I will give it best. See, at the first, no one find themselves lazy or irresponsible or like this. Every student, when they are getting some task from the teacher, they think that, okay, I'll submit it first, I will do it best. Now, when it comes to performing the best, the complete dilemma, the complete confusion comes in the mind. What will make me best? How it will be first? So this particular dilemma will be overcome if you can practice the hybrid mode of learning. You can be wrong, no problem. Unless you can overcome your fear, you cannot become a learner. And see, when I think in this particular gathering, in this virtual gathering, most of you know how to swim. So, and some does not know how to swim. Some, those do not know how to swim, maybe they do not have the opportunity or access It may be you discuss your love life with your mentor. That is also you are expecting to learn something from your teacher. He will give you some advices, and you will analyze the advice in your own way, and you will apply that particular thing in your life. If your parent is sick back in your home, you are discussing with your mentor, and the mentor gives you some advice. That is also a part of learning for you. You will apply that advice to your real life, and you will get out of the problem. Then workshop, you visit certain area where the training is given, hands-on training is given on a certain particular thing is called as workshop. Here, one person is a trainer. He trained all the others present here in a given particular subject. Next is the conference, where the discussion, conference is generally a discussion forum. One is giving the speech, then following the discussion, the topic is being crossed and crossed and crossed again and again, and then the extract of that particular discussion is being taken. That is called as conference. Whatever we are seeing here, all are the face-to-face confrontation. That is, the classroom, teacher is present, students are there. Laboratory, teacher is present, teacher is showing how to mix this component with that component, how to triturate, how to compress, how to mix, how to pack, all these things, how to make label, everything is being done in the guidance of teacher. So face-to-face, the tutoring face-to-face, one-to-one, mentoring face-to-face, one-to-a group, workshop, one-to-a group, conference between one particular group and another particular group. So this kind of face-to-face confrontation, face-to-face components is there. That is the synchronous. Your query comes, you give your query, you get the answer, and take it. So likewise, the synchronous, the immediate response you can get from the physical component. That's why it is very important that you do not have to wait for your queries. It will be immediately addressed, and then you can take your following next step. Then synchronous electronic components. Same thing, the virtual online class. The virtual online class is a video conference class. That is a particular, say the Google class. Google class is known as the virtual online class. So in Google class, it is a complete package. Complete package means that provide the synchronous electronic and asynchronous electronic. So when the teacher is online, when we are doing the video conferencing through that Google Classroom, you can ask the teacher when the teacher is not present. You can put the question in that particular app. Later on, when the teacher will be available, he or she will answer that. At the same time, it will provide the other mode of communication. So I'll come to that in the next slide. Then video conference, the video class. Video class, this is a video conferencing mode. So if you are querying synchronously, immediately you will get it addressed. Next is the audio. When the video facility is not available, over telephone, over any kind of audio app, we can discuss with the peer, and it can happen with the peer and with the colleagues. You can discuss the audio conference. You can ask your friend about certain topic. It is over the telephone, audio conferencing. You can ask your teacher over the telephone. That is also audio conferencing. Then discussion forum. Discussion forum is what, say, WhatsApp group or Facebook Messenger, this kind of messenger services where we can put our queries. Someone present in that particular discussion forum for that particular point of time, he or she will immediately answer, and you will get the answer done. This is called as the synchronous. So you need not to wait. You will get the answer once you raise the question in that particular discussion forum. Last is chatbot. Chatbot means what? We know that this is the era of machine learning, machine language, and this is the era of the artificial intelligence. So chatbot is a part of artificial intelligence where all the information is given into a particular thing, and you'll see when you open certain website, you'll see in any corner of that, you'll get a small chat box is open. You can see this thing in the railway ticket booking website, or in this Airtel website is also there. So that's like this kind of website, they are providing the chatbot service. The other side, there is no living human. There is a computer robot which will understand your question, and accordingly you will give some preset answer. It is not that you will ask something out of the world and you will be able to give the answer. If you ask only certain topics which is already being there in their system, it will be answered. Otherwise, it will not be answered. But the answer will be in the right time, the real-time answer. So that is called a synchronous electronic components. Then asynchronous library. If you have when you are reading a book and if you have a doubt, suppose you are reading the Novel Drug Delivery System, your library, and you have some certain doubt, your librarian will not be able to answer that particular doubt. You have to wait till your teacher will be available to you to answer that particular doubt. So library, books, or e-library, these are the asynchronous. You can get the information, you can read the information, but if you fail to understand, you have to wait till the synchronous mode is available to you, or you can raise the problem, you can send the problem to someone, and in his or her own time, you will get the answer back. Then flip learning. This is very important. Very, very important. Flip learning. And this is a very modern concept, very useful technique for all of you. As I have told you, that sometimes you find yourself in the middle of nowhere because you don't know what happened yesterday or what happened 2 classes before. And today, suddenly, I came to the class as a traveler, as a tourist. And today, I do not know what is being taught. And even I am a regular attendee of the class, but today, I find that whatever the teacher is saying, everything goes beyond my understanding. It is just jumping and bumping beyond my head. This because you do not have the prerequisite information. When the formulation of anything will be started, you must know that what is diluent. If you do not know what is diluent, teacher will be saying that, okay, this is diluent, that is diluent, these are examples of diluent, we use this percent as a diluent. The things will not be important, not be understood to you, understood to you, and you will find it really boring. But what is flipped class? You have to get yourself informed about the next topic of discussion, because face-to-face component is time-wise very limited. The virtual world offers you the flexibility, time in terms of time, flexibility in terms of place. It offers things, but your face-to-face class, face-to-face interaction does not offer you any flexibility like this. So 1 hour class is limited. If you have 100 queries, your teacher will not be able to address all your queries. And in flipped class, if you are not prepared, or if you do not have your basic level of understanding, you will not be able to understand what is going on in that particular limited time. So get yourself informed. What will be discussed in today's class, you should have asked your teacher yesterday, and before coming to the class, you prepare yourself according to that particular class. That, okay, tomorrow sir will start the syrup. So before coming to the class, I will not understand. It is not for understanding and remembering everything in the syrup, but just to get the basic information of the syrup. And this can happen over a cup of tea when you are enjoying your morning breakfast in your dining table. This does not require a big amount of time going, rushing to the library, sitting over there 2 hours and read everything about the syrup. No, take the help of your digital device, go to the virtual world, and today teacher is going to start the syrup chapter. So I'm taking the sip of 1 tea, okay, this is syrup, okay, this is all about the syrup. This is the basic information about the syrup. That's what you can get in your digital world within the 5 to 10 minutes that you take to sip your 1 cup of tea. That is the flip learning. And with well coordination with the teacher, you can develop a good relation. All the students, when there will be a good coordination between teacher and the learner, the teacher will deliberately tell, okay, come tomorrow, we will discuss this particular topic. So once you know that tomorrow sir is going to discuss this topic, I will prepare. I will just have some basic idea about that topic, so that when sir will start his face-to-face instruction, I can at least understand what sir wants to tell, what sir wants to learn and understand. Because you are there to learn, you are there to understand. So your focus would be when sir is speaking, madam speaking, you have to learn and understand. For that you have to have a prerequisite information. Then web page. Web page for which it does not give you clarification. You can only get the information, you can read, you can understand, but it cannot give you the queries answered. So that is a asynchronous component. Next is the uploaded video. Uploaded video, that may be a very nice, very informative lecture video. It may be a pre-recorded audio with all information given, but in your queries, when you are in doubt, you cannot ask the video that, okay, answer me that, because the person who have recorded the video is already offline. So you cannot expect your answer. If you can answer it in that discussion part of Facebook, or discussion part, comments part of Facebook, or discussion part of YouTube, there you can upload your question in time, in their own time, it will be answered, but not as a real-time answer. Then note, article, handouts. Teachers give the notes. If we see, there's two types of notes. One note is given in the class, and suddenly if you have a question that you can immediately ask your question, you will get it answered. But when a note is given to you, a prepared note is given to you and asks you to write it back in your home or get a copy of that, that time it becomes asynchronous, because whenever you are studying it, you are reading it, if you have questions and queries, the teacher is not there in your house. You have to wait until next morning when the teacher will be available in the college. Or you have to now shift to a online synchronous mode. You have to, because synchronous mode next is note. There is a doubt. Now what you can do, if the teacher is free, you can go to the video conference, you can go to the telecalling, audio conferencing, so whatsoever you like. So asynchronous to synchronous, you can convert, and thereby you have to blend it. See, every time it requires blending. What influence? How you experience that thing? Discussing, delivering, your experience matters. If your experience is good, you will like to go there. If you are going to a certain park repeatedly, that means you like that park. If you like to play a certain game in your mobile and you are avoiding playing other games, that means your experience in that particular game is nice. You feel nice when you play that game. Sometimes we used to hear that what is my favorite subject? Okay, pharmaceutics is not my favorite subject. Pharmacology is my favorite subject. This favoritism is sometimes depends on the experience. How you experience reading or studying particular subject, that influence the overall learning. Now, once you establish a particular subject of your favorite, automatically at the end of your course or curriculum, you will find that compared to other subjects, you are much superior in your favorite subject. And we never ask ourselves that why this particular subject is favorite. This is also having the black and white books, and that is also, those are also having the black and white books. So what makes the difference? The difference is that I experience the feeling of happiness while I have studied this particular subject. I could have connect myself to that particular subject, and that's how it become favorite. And once it become favorite, I used to experience more and more euphoria in that particular subject, and my outcome of learning is much better. So try to improve your experience, and experience can be only improved when you are involved and engaged. When you are flying in a helicopter or in a aeroplane, you never know what is the feeling of swimming in a river. Or you will never know what is the experience of trekking down a hill. But once you are there, you will engage yourself in the swimming or in the trekking, you will experience it. And And when you try to enjoy it, your experience will be better. So these first three things is very correlated with each other. Experience, when you experience it, your confidence will be boosted up. Say when you play a particular game repeatedly and repeatedly, you become master in that particular game. And once you are master in that particular game, your confidence is boosted. Once your confidence is boosted, you are successful in that particular game. And once you are successful in that particular game, your experience is better because you are enjoying that. So likewise, if you can do the same thing in your subjects of learning, then the same thing you will experience. Your experience you will enjoy it. When you will enjoy it, you will do it repeatedly. When you will do it repeatedly, your confidence will be boosted. And when your confidence will be boosted and you are enjoying it, your experience will be much better. Then usefulness. If I find a particular thing useful, then only I will do it. Otherwise, I will not do it. Useless thing, hardly will do any kind of useless thing. So, if it is useless, if it is useless to me, if it is helpful to me, then only it will be good. So, until unless you understand the usefulness of learning, that coming to the square one again, that you have to understand that why you are learning, why you are here, why you are admitted to a particular course in Assam Downtown University. The usefulness, that what is your career plan? If you do not have a career plan, you do not find the usefulness of any subject, including the communication English or remedial mathematics. You will find every subject useful when you have a certain plan in your life. And then you will understand the importance of learning. And once you find the importance of learning, everything that will take you to your goal will make you feel useful. So that is the thing. Then come to the next is the intention. That I was telling, the intention. What is my intention? What is my plan? What I want to do? That intention to be clear. And once all these things will happen, you will be motivated. So if you are not motivated, then nothing will happen. Because in the class, sometimes your teacher may be strict to force you to somehow physically present into the class. By threatening you about your attendance, by scolding you, or by love, or by hook or crook, he or she can make you come to the class and physically present. Maybe emotionally you are not in the class, but physically you are present in the class. But in your virtual learning, there is no one to push you and force you unless you are self-motivated and you are pushing yourself to study, to learn. So that's what you have to be motivated, and this motivation will come when 1, 2, 4, 5 is already there. There is experience. You are having good experience. You are confident. You are enjoying the thing. You find it very useful, and you have an intention to learn. Then automatically you are motivated. Finally, the ICT skill. If you cannot type anything, if you cannot use 2 fingers in typing, then your typing will be slow, and you will be afraid to type a long question in the discussion forum. Sometimes we see that I don't know how to use the Google Classroom, or how to use the Google Meet or Zoom class, Zoom video. So I will always keep myself refrain from this kind of activities. I don't know how to do video conferencing. So what I will do, if I do some mistake, everyone in that meeting will laugh at me. So this kind of negative sense will come. Now see, nothing is impossible. ICT skill. Now, if you learn to learn, I have already told you that learners know how to learn. So if you know how to learn, why only you can learn the pharmaceutics or pharmacology? You can also learn the information technology. If you want to learn and you know how to learn, then you can learn the ICT skill. But it is an influencing factor, and if your core skill influence your learning, then you have to upgrade yourself in terms of ICT skill. So coming to the almost end of this today's discussion, now see, blending is very important. How you will blend? As I told you, that proper blending will give you a very right formulation, a very right configuration of that particular learning. If you are mismatching things, the result will be a complete mess. So What is your outcome? What you want to be? Knowing the thing is only the process. The end, the result is important for us. So the outcome, what I want to do after doing all these things, after doing and attending class, attending online, doing some research in Google, reading some books, reading some website, all we are doing. But what is the outcome? What I want to be, not the result, the marks or grade in your result sheet or certificate. That is not the outcome. The outcome is what permanent or some more or less or some permanent changes I want to see in myself. That is the outcome. And what is your outcome? Accordingly, you have to blend it. How much online I require, how much synchronous I require, how much asynchronous I require, that mixing you have to do. And this part is very important for those who are in the project semester of inform and doing PhD. For them, very, very important to blend the things. In project work, in PhD research work, there the communication with guide, there is a face-to-face interaction, and the other component, the proportion is different compared to a student where the face-to-face interaction and the other components is different. The proportion will be changed in terms of learning. What you are learning and your level of learning, these two will change the proportion. If you have more requisite information, you can align yourself more towards the virtual world. When you have less prerequisite information, you have to align yourself more towards the face-to-face. But you have to make the blend properly. That how much offline and how much of online will be mixed. It is up to you, completely up to you. But you have to use two components. When the two components is well balanced, it is really very useful. It will augment your learning. It will minimize the time required for your learning. Then choose the right tool. What are the tools I have to choose? What are the authentic source? What is my limitation in my IT skill? My net slow and I'm trying to see the high-end videos in YouTube. No, it will not be useful. And within 2 or 3 minutes, I will get completely bored with that particular slow video or the buffering video. So what I have to do, I have to choose what particular right source for me, what balance my learning desire and what balance my affordability. Then next is the make learning easier. Do not use it because someone told you to use it. Use it because it will improve your learning and it will upgrade your learning. So learning will be very easy. Then only use it. You cannot replace the practical because someone told you to use hybrid learning and you are replacing the whole experiment in pharmaceutical chemistry. You have not synthesized anything. You have just seen the videos of how to prepare aspirin, how to prepare paracetamol, and you have seen all these things in the video, and you become expert. No. But if you see these videos to prepare aspirin, and then finally, the one night before you are scheduled for that particular experiment, and next morning, when you will be doing the same experiment in your laboratory, it will be mistake-free, and it will be a nice experience for you. What I was telling, that once you have a prerequisite information, you are practicing it, and when you are practicing it, you will enjoy it, you will have a better experience, you will have a confidence to do it, and once you are having the confidence to do it, you will do it better. And when you will do it better, your learning will be accomplished. So that's how you do the thing. Do not just do it because someone told you, or you are having a high-speed internet connectivity, you are having a high-end mobile phone or a high-end laptop, and you are just not going to the class, not really, and doing everything, reading or seeing videos in the mobile and laptop will not solve the purpose. Outline the degree of blending. Now, the proportion is there, but how much you will blend? That means, say, a particular subject or take a particular topic. For example, say ointment. In the ointment class, in the normal undergraduate level, the ointment subtopic takes around 8 to 10 classes to complete the whole discussion about the ointment, starting from the introduction to the complete student feedback or assessment. So it takes around 8 to 10 days, 8 to 10 classes. Now, when you will mix the online components, the teacher will take 8 classes, schedule 8 hours is there. Now, how you will incorporate these online or virtual components in between 8 classes or end of the 8 classes or prior to 8 classes or after 3 classes, we will incorporate some part and then next 2 classes, we will add some part. So this particular degree of blending, that how much you will blend and how you will blend, this you have to have a proper outlining. And this is all possible. See, sitting today in this particular discussion, you may think that this is very difficult. I don't know what sir will discuss in the class. You don't know because you do not have the prerequisite information. But as I told you, that like a flip learning, if you learn the basic of the ointment before, then you can easily plan it out. Easily plan it out that the degree of blending. And also sometimes you must remember that you should not cross the limit. So today, sir, only give you the introduction about the ointment, and you have just studied the evaluation of ointment, all these things you have just studied and studied and studied without understanding anything. This is an improper building. So today, sir has discussed, so what is the next 1 or 2 class? That idea you take from your textbook or some media, and then blend it properly, prepare yourself for today's class, whatever have been taken, and what would be the next 2 to 3 classes, and blend the online and offline component properly, and then make your own plan. Integrate collaboration and communication, which is very easy in the information and communication technology. Collaborate, that is the group study, group learning is much superior than the individual lonely learning. Communication, when you will collaborate with your team or with your group, the communication will be started. Someone in the group will make the discussion through the communication, collaborate and discussion, collaborate and discussion, collaborate and communication. Likewise, you'll see the learning will be much easier. Make a small group of your friends, 2 to 3, 5 members, make a small group, start discussion. You see, those things are very easy, very easy. Some difficult topic, when it comes to a group table, it is broken into the pieces, and when the things are broken into the pieces, every piece is being understood by one on one, and then the complete result is very good. Then compile a list of resources. As I've told you that there are fake all information. So what are the resources you will utilize for your learning? From there, you have to wisely select. Then create an assessment plan. Now, I am learning, I am using all these things. I have forced my father to get me a very good internet connectivity. I have purchased a very modern laptop, say Apple Air MacBook I have purchased. All these things, nitty-gritties I have done. And I'm spending hours and hours in the online. But I do not know what I am learning. So you have to assess. You have to question yourself and you have to get the answer whether I have reached up to my outcome level or not. What I have learned, that the assessment, you should have an assessment plan. Sometimes what happens, so simple, student life, one assessment is that you read something, then you read it 2, 3, 4 times. Once you think that you remembered it, you write it in a notebook. And you see that, okay, I can write it completely without seeing the book. That means my remembering part is over. So this kind of assessment plan you have to do. And this have to be done in a two level. One is self-level and peer level. Self-level means what? I will do, like what the example I have given, that you will have your own assessment. You will take your own examination. And second is that let your teacher ask something. Let your teacher go to the discussion. Again, back to the face-to-face. Come to the teacher, discuss it. Because see, assessment does not mean a examination or a viva. Assessment means when you discuss with someone, if you come up to the discussion, if you are putting your points properly, that means you have learned. Today, if you discuss with about cricket with your friend and you are telling that someone who, if there is a short ball and take this particular shot, say pool or hook or whatsoever, if you can suggest someone that in for this particular short pitch ball, one have to take a pull shot or a hook shot, that means you have some good idea about the cricket. If you see that for short ball, you have to step out and you have to take a shot in the long on or long off. That means you are not studying anything. So that's how the peer discussion, peer assessment, and self-assessment. These two you have to understand, because only you are going and going and going, you don't know what I am going does not mean. Next is feedback is key. So that's what I was telling, that feedback of more than the teacher will voluntarily give the feedback to the teacher, a student, that okay, you are doing good, your answer is correct, this kind of your answer is wrong. Your answer is wrong means what? Your source is wrong. Your answer is wrong, that means you are wrong. It is not the thing. Your source is wrong. The answer from where you have got the answer is wrong. Don't take the criticism or feedback in a negative sense. If some teacher says your answer is wrong, we generally think, oh, teacher told me I'm wrong. No, you are not wrong. The source you have referred for that particular answer is wrong, or the way you have explained is wrong, or maybe the attitude you have shown during the answering is wrong. The preference that you have chosen during your answering is wrong. So that's how the thing happens. So these things you have to keep that, you have to welcome the feedback, you take your own feedback and the feedback from the other. When you are in a collaborative group, there you take the feedback. And sometimes the feedback may be just what is this, a submissive feedback, not a bold and clear feedback, but sometimes you will see some very little comments or maybe a particular smile or something that gives us the positive or negative response, that whether the feedback is right or wrong, whether the feedback is for good feedback or bad feedback. Particular thing we can easily understand when we are in the system. We can, and from that feedback, from that particular assessment, we can do the self-improvisation in the learning. So I told this thing already in our earlier discussion, that do not do it for sake of doing it. Do it to improve your learning. So how we can plan our, from today onwards, if someone really like my discussion, and if someone try to plan this hybrid learning, then this stage can be followed. It is not a single stage that start told, that's why we'll do like this. It is not that this is only one example that you can start like this. First you see what is learning or teaching goal. In case of learner, you have to think that what is my learning goal. In case of teaching, what is my teaching goal? What are the learning activities? What are the activities? Because the goal is to be broken into the small activities. Small activities means what? Say, if someone wants to understand and know about and become a master in the tablet, then it has to be broken into different parts. You have to go to the theory classes, that is the face-to-face learning. It have to be broken into the library activities. It have to be broken into the laboratory activities. It have to be broken into the project work. So likewise, every learning activity, and then once you are done with all these things, say, do not think that you have already studied the Lieberman-Lachman tablet chapter and you become the master in the tablet. It is not possible. You have, from the study, you go to the laboratory, go to the library, and then go to the project, and once you complete the cycle, then only the learning is accomplished. So what are the activities required for your learning, that you have to plan yourself, that I need this thing to do. So accordingly, and see, this happens. It is not that you will take a piece of paper and then write, okay, this. No, keep a flexibility. But this happens, that activities will come. The activities will be self-driven. But you have to have a clear idea that these are the activities I have to incorporate in my hybrid study plan. Then, what are the affordance of technology? That is very important. I told you that what technology you can afford. What is the technology available to you? what is the internet speed, what is the configuration of your gadget, how much time you can afford into that particular technology. All these things, the affordance of the technology, you have to think, and limitation, depending on the limitation of the technology, you have to plan your learning, hybrid learning plan. Then what would be the physical and online? Now, how much I will devote into the physical, how much I will devote into the online, and that this particular decision is depends on the 1 to 3. That goal, activity, and affordability. If you have 3 basic understanding, if you have assessed all these 3 things, then only you can proportionate that how much I will go to the physical and how much I will go to the online. If you are having good affordance to the technology, if you are having a learning activity that is supportive towards the online system, and if your goal is supporting that particular thing, then you put more in the online. And then if you see, no, I have a very limited internet capacity, I have very low-end gadget, I have put more towards the physical. Some topics are there which are more important to be discussed into the face-to-face interaction. There you have to think that no, the activity is mostly a physical activity, so I cannot plan it digitally. So physical is physical, digital is digital. Now, blending is depending on your learning activities. The activities, if it is a physical type activity, you have to keep it physical. Say, for example, if I consider 2 subjects, one is the pharmaceutical jurisprudence, and another subject, for example, say pharmaceutical technology. The pharmaceutical jurisprudence, you can minimize the physical components because they are most of the things you can find it, you can read it anytime, anywhere, because that is a thing that only need up to the level 1 and level 2 of learning. That is knowing and understanding. Okay, so there the face-to-face things is not that much important. I'm not saying that from tomorrow onwards you will not come to the class of a teacher who is teaching you pharmaceutical jurisprudence. I'm not meaning that. But you can plan more towards the digital learning in that particular subject. But in terms of pharmaceutical technology, you have to keep more portion in your physical, because there you have to understand the thing. Face-to-face understanding is required. Every point of time you require a synchronous communication, synchronous learning is required. Second, and you have to have a skill set required for that, so you have to go to the laboratory. But these things can be complemented with the digital learning activities. So before, as I have given you example, that before going to the tablet punching experiment, you can see the different videos available in the YouTube, so that you will get a very good idea that how the industrial tablet comparison is taking place. So this kind of thing you can do. This way you can blend the digital into the physical form of learning. Then what is my assessment plan? Always do not rely on the examination system of your university or whatsoever. That assessment say you have studied you could not complete the whole curriculum in your revision. Out of 10 chapters, you have completed 7 chapters very well. And in the examination, unfortunately, 80% questions come from that particular 3 chapters which you could not have revised. And you have ended up with a bad result, okay? Low score. So whether it means that you are poor in that subject, while you have already taken your mastery in 7 subjects, that is 70% of the particular subject you have already mastered. Only because the questions from those 7 chapters were not given in the examination, that's why your marks are poor. The reverse can also happen. By chance and by luck, sometimes we study 2 or 3 chapters and we get so many questions in our question paper and we write it very well. While we do not know 80% of that subject. So do not rely on that particular system. Else, you better have your own assessment plan. Because it is not the chapter I am finishing, the matter I have learned. The things I have learned is most important. So if it is written as a tablet, so my end outcome or end product of the learning should be I should have a good knowledge and I should know about tableting. That should be my assessment. And how I will assess? Self-examination, discussion, posing yourself into a particular system that we call as simulation activities. So this kind of activities you think. So find the problem, and in your mind, you just keep answering yourself. Say you just think that okay, this tablet is a mottling. There is a mottling in a particular tablet. Now you start analyzing that what could happen. Just take a take a just imaginary question in yourself, and then you just keep answering, keep analyzing the particular problem, and you come to a conclusion. Maybe right conclusion, maybe wrong conclusion, but come to a conclusion by stepwise analyzing that particular problem is also a process of assessment. You can do, and if you can do this kind of assessment, you will know that what is your level of, because when you will ask yourself question and you are not able to answer yourself, you will understand that okay, my part of learning is not completed. So these 3 steps you must remember that education training is a process. That is, the result is only the process. The result you get at the end of every semester is only the process. The learning is the outcome, and you require the learning. The result, the final thing, what you want with yourself is the permanent change in terms of your knowledge level, your understanding level, your behavior, your value, attitude, and preference. That is what you need. And for doing that, for getting that permanent changes, you have to go through the process of education, process of training. And technology and effort, that is the different technologies that we are using, the overhead projector, the digital class system, the interactive class system. Today, touchscreen classes are also there. Maybe the online classes, maybe different types of digital media we are using for the learning. Everything, technologies and the efforts, the teacher put their efforts in the classes. Everything are the means to reach to your final destination of learning outcome. So the ultimately thing is that we have to learn. The focus on learning outcome, that is the end result, nothing else. Sometimes you get a very flashing result in your semester examination, and you will think yourself that okay, I become the master of that particular subject. It may not be like that. Sometimes you'll see that though some students are there who are performing moderate or sometimes not that much good, but they are doing very good in later on in their real life. Because the learning was completed. Maybe the examination was not went that much good, but the learning, he was focused more on the learning instead of the marks or the scores. So in that case, we'll really say that the result is not that important compared to the outcome. Similarly, sometimes what we can say, someone have done a very excellent result, first class or something like the distinctions or A, B, C, D, something they have got. But in real life performance, they may not have that particular thing. They remember the thing, what have been written in the book. They have copied those in the answer script, and they have got the good marks. But that was only the first level of learning, only the knowing they have completed. They have not done the understanding, they have not done the analyzing, they have not done the evaluating, they are not able to create. They are not doing the creating. So that's how their performance in later life is incomplete. And that's why finally the yellow and bold line, it says that learning influences human performance. We all are here to perform. We all are here to perform. We perform in our family, we perform in our job, we perform in our day-to-day life. Everything what we are doing is performance. I'm talking here is a performance. And that have been the training that have been given in my early childhood, when my mother and father and my relatives was taught how to speak. So that gives me the way what I am talking today. Today you are working from one place to another place because someone taught you, hold your hand to walk one, 2 steps. Then only you learn how to walk. And remember, if you could not learn those things today, you could not have done anything today. So learning, if you do not learn walking, your life is mess. If you cannot talk, your life is mess. You cannot do anything. So you learn those things. That's why you are performing today. You can talk. And remember, today you are using this modern technology where I am sitting somewhere and you are sitting miles and miles apart from me, but we are communicating. You have self-learned this. You remember, there is no curriculum starting from your KG to the UG. There is no curriculum that has taught you how to use Google Meet app. Is there any books available in your library? Where is a book, learn how to use Google Meet? No books are available. You learn it because you wanted to learn it. If you did not want to learn it, you never could have learned it. And you learned it, that's why you are performing here. You are participating here. Understand my point? So you have to ignite your learning power. And today, when we come almost at the end of today's discussion, I think you all are clear about your intention. The base level of the hybrid learning, that your intention should be clear. So what is your intention? You have to learn. If you don't want to learn pharmacy, then leave it. But learn at least something which will include to your life skill. And that will give you the better performance in your life. So think that way. Think the learning perspective, not the teaching perspective. Understand my point? So hopefully this will help you. So thank you all, and wish you all very happy learning. Hope you will now start to learn how to learn. So, Himanshu?
Thank you so much, sir, for your magnificent presentation. Now, I would like to ask if anyone have any kind of questions or query. They can put forward your query in the chat box, or they can ask directly. Anyone want to ask anything?
No, sir.
Okay. With your permission, sir, I would like to put forward a query that came in a chat box. The question reads, what are the online tools that can be used to enhance blended learning?
Blended learning, the tools I have already give you certain example that the tools can be this video, the pre-recorded video lectures. This is one tool which is readily available. Sometimes some pre-recorded videos which describe the particular thing may not be a lecture, but the text. Sometimes audios are already preloaded. Sometimes we can go through the different types of say web pages, blogs, discussion forums. There we can get the information. Then and see, it is not only meaning that you will blend the teaching with your say something which is the online and computer based. Sometimes blending can be done with the physical things also. For example, say you can take some printout. If you don't have a computer, you can take printout of some articles, some notes that is being complemented with your physical class, and it can be blended well. Sometimes books are also can be blended with the notes, and along with the class teaching, it can be complementing each other, and it can become a good blend. So hybrid learning is not restricted to certain mode of learning. Whatever the mode is available to you, most of us, we are having access to the different types of web pages, web-based informations. We have the video lectures. We have the different types of pre-recorded informations in the websites. So from there, we can get this kind of information. Along with that, we can also have the e-learning content, for example, e-books. This kind of things are readily available. So the selection is basically depends on your affordance, what you can afford, and what is available to you, and what makes you interested. That is very important.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Again, I am asking if anyone have any kind of query, they can put forward it. Anyone have any kind of query? Okay, and thank you so much, sir, for answering the all the query posted by the students. With your permissions, with this, I want to conclude the today's session, sir.
Okay, sure. Thank you. Thank you. Manju.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.